Think about the last time you bought something online. Maybe a t-shirt, a new gadget, whatever. You type in your card details, you hit that final pay button, and poof, a moment later, it's done. It feels so simple, right? Almost instant. But behind that one little click, there is a massive operation quietly at work.
So, what is really going on in those few seconds? How does your money safely get from your bank account all the way to that online store? Well, a lot of the time, it comes down to one company.
And that invisible giant is Stripe. It is the engine behind millions of businesses, from the tiniest startups to absolute titans like Amazon and Google. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it works, how it makes its money, and how it quietly became one of the most valuable companies on the entire planet.
To really get why Stripe is such a big deal, we gotta rewind the clock a bit. See, before 2010, trying to accept money online was, well, it was a total nightmare for businesses. We're talking a tangled mess of banking hurdles, special merchant accounts, and ridiculously complicated code.
So this was the mess that two Irish brothers, Patrick and John Collison, saw back in 2010. They realized that for the internet economy to really truly explode, this fundamental problem had to be solved. So they set out to do something pretty radical. Turn that complicated multi-step headache into something a developer could just drop into their website with a few lines of code.
And that was their whole mission. I know, it sounds simple, but you have to understand, this goal was revolutionary. By focusing on developers and making payments basically plug and play, they unlocked the door for millions of new online businesses to get started without any of the old hassles.
Okay, so how does Stripe actually pull this off? How in the world does it handle the secure flow of money across the internet in just a couple of seconds? Let's dig into the mechanics.
Stripe basically plays two critical roles at the same time. Think of it like this. It's the secure armored car, that's the payment gateway, that safely carries your encrypted card info, and it's also the bank teller, the payment processor, that talks to all the different banks to get the transaction approved. Before Stripe, businesses had to find and hire both of those things separately. Stripe just bundled them into one neat package.
And what's just incredible is how fast this all happens. The moment you enter your card info, Stripe encrypts it and fires off a super secure request to your bank through networks like Visa or MasterCard. Your bank gives a quick thumbs up or thumbs down, literally in an instant. Stripe then zaps that message back to the website and starts the process of moving the money. The whole thing? It takes about 2 seconds.
So yeah, Stripe is that secure digital bridge. It lets money flow from you to the seller, but, and this is the genius part, it means the merchant never has to see or store your sensitive card details. That's the beauty of it. Stripe handles all the security and all the complexity so the business doesn't have to.
Okay, handling all that digital cash is one thing, but how does Stripe turn that into a multi-billion-dollar business? Well, the model is deceptively simple and unbelievably powerful.
This right here, this little formula is the engine of their money machine. For most online transactions, Stripe charges the merchant 2.9% plus 30 cents. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But when you're processing $1 trillion, yeah, it adds up fast.
So let's just break it down. On a $100 sale, Stripe's fee comes out to $3.20. The merchant gets $96.80. Now just try to imagine that tiny little slice being taken from billions and billions of transactions every single day all over the world. That's how you build a massive river of revenue.
And here's the thing, it's not just credit and debit cards anymore. Stripe takes a cut from almost every modern way you can pay for things. We're talking Apple Pay, Google Pay, bank transfers, even those recurring subscriptions for your favorite services. If money is moving online, you can bet Stripe has found a way to help it move and earn a small fee.
But here is where they got really smart. Stripe didn't just stop at taking payments. Nope, they built an entire ecosystem of tools around it. Need to handle subscriptions? Bam, there's Stripe Billing. Running a marketplace like Uber and need to pay your drivers? That's what Stripe Connect is for. Each one of these tools solves another huge headache for online businesses, which adds new revenue streams and makes Stripe so deeply woven into their operations that it becomes almost impossible to leave.
So when you look at the whole picture, while those transaction fees are the main course, Stripe's income is actually super diverse. They earn from all these premium services, from currency conversion fees when you buy something from another country, and even from powerful AI tools like Radar, which businesses happily pay for to stop fraud. It's a really deeply integrated machine.
This whole model has let Stripe grow to a scale that's, well, it's honestly hard to wrap your head around, especially since they stay so hidden for most of us. So let's try to put its size into perspective.
Over $1 trillion.
That is how much money flows through Stripe's platform in a single year. Let that sink in for a second. That's more than the entire GDP of some developed countries. They are handling a huge, huge slice of all the shopping that happens online globally.
And yet, for a company this massive, most of us have never consciously interacted with it. And you know what? That's on purpose. Stripe's customers aren't you and me. They're the developers and the entrepreneurs who are building the internet. Stripe's success comes from being that reliable and visible engine that just works, so they can focus on their actual business.
Of course, they're not the only game in town. They've got to compete with giants like PayPal, which is much more consumer-facing, and other big players like Adyen and Block. But Stripe's secret weapon, their superpower, has always been their obsession with making life easy for developers. By making their tools so simple and powerful, they won the loyalty of the people who are actually building the next generation of internet companies.
So what's next? Well, if you look at their moves, their ambition goes way, way beyond just processing payments. Their real goal is to become the fundamental economic plumbing for the entire internet. As commerce gets more global, more automated, and more complex, Stripe wants to be the one providing all the tools to make it all just happen. I think this quote just nails it. It perfectly captures their endgame. Just like Visa built the infrastructure for credit cards in the physical world, Stripe is trying to become the default trusted network for moving value in our digital world.
So the next time you click buy and everything just works seamlessly, remember the invisible giant pulling the levers behind the curtain. There's a really, really good chance it's Stripe. Now that you know the secret, the real question is, where else are you going to start noticing its invisible architecture holding up our digital world?